Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Tuesday. It's Daryl here. It's bright and freaking early. It's 3:30 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. Let me say this. I was just thinking about this. Since I've been clean and sober since October 23rd, 2006, I've told you guys I vaped. I actually, I'll get into those smoking cigarettes in another video. I didn't start smoking until I was 35 years old. Swear to God. And it was because of substance abuse. And I started thinking about, I do have a love of caffeine and coffee now. I cut out the nicotine for the most part. I still have a vape here. I still have some e-juice with low nicotine content. But that's as far as my substance indulgence goes. Okay, there's going to be a link down below. And I have to start this video off a little slowly. It has to do with what you talk about, like substance abuse and swearing and stuff like that in the first 30 seconds of a monetized video. So I'm starting this off a little slow. I've been wanting to do a video talking about my recovery, I really been wanting to do a video talking a warning to people out there that are still messing. I thought about how I used to look at, using substances, my messing around with liquor and drugs and everything back when I was in my teens and my 20s. And I really believed I was different. I believed, I have willpower, and I'm a smart guy. I did good in school, and I'm from a good family. Even though I've told you guys about being abused and all that stuff, I put out, that stuff didn't matter. I could control this. I'm not like those other people. And yesterday, I started thinking about doing a video, and the term that came to mind, my life. Looking back over my life was a slow motion train wreck. I had so many opportunities to become successful, married, wealthy, owning my own business over and over again. And it was just the first 40 years of my life was like a slow motion train wreck where it just I could just picture like the locomotives just tumbling slowly over each other and people flying out of the train, and just disaster and mayhem just increasing, and me just, everything's fine. I'm different. I can handle this. Okay, I think 30 seconds have gone by. Now let me tell you what I'm going to talk about here. The thing that bothers me is this mythology about sex, drugs, and rock and roll. You hear a lot of people talk about, one of the reasons, I remember one of the reasons I got involved in drinking and substance abuse was because I was kind of shy. I think we're all a little shy. And I still remember one of the very first times I ever used a certain illegal substance from Colombia. I was probably about 19 years old. It was one of the first times. First times I used was about 17, 18, 19, but it was one of the first times. One of the early times. And I remember going to a party in a town kind of far away, about a half hour away. I didn't know anybody at this party, and there were supposed to be a lot of girls there and all this other stuff. And I got myself a little bit of this Colombian substance. And I still remember, I went in there, I felt like I was dressed the best, like I looked the best. I remember standing in the middle of the living room and telling these jokes and doing like my Michael Jackson moonwalk, and all the girls laughing. And later I got, my friends came up to me, hey, this girl wants your phone number. This girl wants your phone number. And I was like, this stuff is just fantastic. This is, this is what I've needed. This is the perfect thing, and I can handle it. I just spent $20 and look how great this night was. And like I said, a slow motion train wreck. Now I'm really going to get into it here. The mythology between especially when you're talking about stimulants like methamphetamine and cocaine. These drugs below, you're going to see some links. And these drugs speed up your metabolism. They speed up your blood. They constrict your blood vessels. And inherently, this takes away your ability to get an erection. Back when I was using over and over again, I would see a lot of my friends that used, especially like cocaine, they would become different people. It increased like this degenerate. They became somebody else. I remember some of my best friends hanging out with my best friends, and all of a sudden they started to want to start watching adult videos. I remember some of my best friends pulling out their stuff right in front of me, and they'd say, "Hey, Daryl, join me." Yeah, seriously. These drugs, what they do is they increase your drive, but they take away your ability to function. You know, you hear this term, you know, sex, drugs, and rock and roll, like, or you see, you know, see these pictures of Led Zeppelin or Jimi Hendrix or whatever, and you know, they're sex gods. You know, they were with all these women every night, and that's just, you know, that's just, it's not true. And if they were, you know, let me tell you, like I said, the links will be down below. Now, I never did methamphetamine. It wasn't around when I was using. It's never been in Connecticut. That's a whole other video I want to talk about. Methamphetamine still to this day is nowhere to be found in Connecticut. Look up, if you don't believe me, look up meth labs or meth arrests or any of that in Connecticut, and you'll find nothing. I still think this has something to do with the government or some kind of deals way up above with dealers and suppliers and all this stuff. Because how can it be all over the whole rest of the country and not here? Here, it's still cocaine and crack. And this is just a lie. And then after I stopped using, let me tell you this too. I started getting involved after an operation, a couple back operations. I started getting involved in opiates. And there's a whole nother situation with opiates where you can function a little bit, but there's no release. You can't, it numbs up the nerves in your body. And I remember beating myself bloody. I hope I could say that. You know, I'm like, well, I started this, so I'm going to finish it, you know, and no, I couldn't finish it. The whole mythology of sex, drugs, and rock and roll, it's a lie. It is. One of my favorite shows is Intervention, and on there's a few episodes with meth users, and they talk about how these meth users sit in front of a TV or the computer, pleasuring themselves for 12 hours. And I looked at that, you know, and it said this on Intervention, and I'm like, you know, that's just not true. I'm sure that they sat in front of those computers. I'm sure that they viewed these videos for 12 hours. Like I said, you get this increased, I can only call it degenerate, just these wild ideas about your sex drive it increases to such a high amount that your ideas get degenerate. Things that would never actually excite you. It's bad. But your functionality goes away. It's pure hell. It's torture. Anyway, this Intervention, you know, it says, you know, that this guy was doing this for 12 hours. You know, like, you know, they didn't see him actually completing this act for 12 hours. You know, he was sitting in front of the computer and his arms might have been moving, but let me tell you, what was down below there, I'm sure it wasn't, you know. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about, on my other channel, Staying Clean. I'm going to put the link down below. I talk about this because this channel's monetized, and I got to watch what I say. On my other channel, Staying Clean, I'm at the link right down below for you guys. I got about 10 videos, 15 videos on this channel. Some of them have gotten like 10 views. This one video, you'll find it when you go there. It's got about 6,000 views, and it talks about everything I'm talking about in a lot more descriptive terms. Okay, so after I got clean, my functionality was still decreased for quite a while, to the point where I got a physical as soon as I got into methadone maintenance. I told you guys methadone maintenance saved my life, and I had to get a physical, and I got a physical, and I asked the doctor. I still have the little blue pills. This is a sample he gave me, and because I was afraid, you know, I'd start dating again, and I had no idea how to go about having intimate relations clean and sober. So I asked him for a sample of these. Luckily, I didn't need them. These expired in 2015, and you can see there's still 2 of them left. So luckily, I didn't need those, but let me tell you this. if you are looking to substances to improve your sex life, these right here, let me tell you, these right here, boy, even if you're not having trouble, it really pumps up the volume, if you know what I'm saying. I'm sorry I could get a little more descriptive. I just want to talk about, I see I'm running long already. There's so much more I want to talk about this. I'm going to do another video today or tomorrow where I could talk a little bit more about things that actually happened to me, descriptive things. I have to be so careful, especially after being suspended not even a month ago. So I got to be really careful. So after some careful planning, I'm going to do another video where I'm going to give you guys some examples of things that happened to me and the people around me and stuff that they did, bizarre stuff. It increases your drive. These stimulants increase your drive, but they take away your functionality. It's like a jail cell. It's a tease. It's something Satan himself would have made up. You know, you have the urge more, but you can't satisfy it. You can't complete the act. So for anybody out there, if you're in your teens or 20s, 30s or 40s, and you're looking to mess around, you know, you want to live the wild life, trust me, it's a myth. It is a myth. The best relations, the best intimate relations I've ever had in my 57 years on this earth have been the last 16 years of being clean and sober. Let me say this one last thing. I'm going to get a little more, you might not want to hear this. I was never very vocal my first 40 years being intimate. I lost my virginity when I was 14, if you don't account the sexual abuse. And I was never very vocal. Well, the neighbors could hear now. Being clean, there's nothing better than being intimate and clean and sober. And it gets better as you get older. I swear on the Bible. I'll be back with another video, a lot more in detail coming up later today or tomorrow. You guys have a great Tuesday.